Hey, what's up guys? You're watching Financial Saturday Night Live. Nalilito na ako kung anong tawag sa show namin. Saturday Night Live here on YouTube, Facebook, and Kumu. And this is Salvi Duplito, your financial beshi ng bayan, bringing to you a lot of great conversations again tonight. Medyo nakaka-conscious yung ating show today because our guest is somebody who has been in the vlogging atmosphere for a long, long time and hindi ko alam kung ano yung mga ginagawa kong mali o tama. Basta I want you to stay until the end of the show where you will have a chance to ask your questions. Napakaganda ng topics natin today and I want to bring in already my poging-poging co-host Warren De Guzman. Partner Warren, kumusta ka? Oh, wait, naka-mute ka pa. Naka-mute ka pa, partner.
Sorry,
Yan!
naka-mute pa pala ako. Hello. Hi, Salve.
Parang Mercury retrograde. Everything that will go wrong is going wrong tonight, but still, go lang tayo ng go.
Ay, hindi. Mapafix yan ng guest natin mamaya na sobrang pro sa vlogging, di ba? Buti na lang nandiyan siya. At medyo nakakaya na meron tayong mga technical problems ngayon. So, hello guys.
So fun nga. Yes, hello sa ating mga guests.
Viewers, Aris, Maria,
si Tita Dalian,
si Kathleen, si Marlon. Hello guys.
Team Buddy.
Watching all the way from Oman and from Italy,
yes,
si Aris. Grabe.
Ako yan, ayan. And si Marlon Odehar.
Yun.
Watching
guys,
from Oman. Yes, good day
no?
sa lahat. Meron tayong, in this show, alam mo, Partner Warren, one thing that I really like is that on TV, as we always say, people can hear us and people can learn from the things that our guests say. Kunwari, ikaw, alam nyo naman guys, si Partner Warren, napapanood nyo yan sa ANC, napapanood nyo yan sa TV Patrol, ako sa ANC and other kinds of mga speaking engagements, but it's not very often that you get a chance to join the conversation. And that's what's different with our Saturday Night Live shows. Parang financial open mic, di ba? Tama?
Yes, and yun yung pinaka-exciting, di ba? Kasi may automatic feedback and malalaman natin kaagad yung mga concerns ng mga viewers natin. Ayan, meron pa mga dumagdag from Saudi Arabia. Hello, assalamualaikum. From Baguio City, si
Ansana
Henry.
Mauna. Si
Hello,
Ansana
hello.
Mauna and si Henry from Baguio City. And
Yeah.
si Jay
Si
Tolentino.
Jay
And this is
Tolentino.
the reason why I got connected to one of our guests today. Sa ating Kumu naman, Partner Warren, mag-shoutout lang ako bago natin papasukin, bago tayo pumunta dun sa susunod na topic natin. Sabi ni Uno the One, sagot sa kahirapan, salve ang pangalan, watching from Saudi Arabia. Oh
Wow.
Oy, Randall Johnson, oh my gosh!
Uy, hello,
Nandito,
Randall!
isa pang
Hello,
celebrity.
hello.
Nasa baba, si Randall, idol yan. Nako,
Sa
Randall,
OG.
pag-uusapan namin ang favorite topic mo na scam. About scam. So anyway, just stick around, Randall. Busy pa yan kasi marami siyang binibake para bukas.
Kasi Father's Day. Hello, hello. Nako, Salve. Oh no, ayan sinasabi kasi inopen ni Salve yung show na may Mercury retrograde na comment. Ayan tuloy na wala siya. Save the Queen daw, sabi ni Randall. Nako, so we have two guests. Ayan na yung si Salve. Ayan. Sinasabi ko, kakasabi ko lang kasi inopen mo yung show na may Mercury retrograde comment. Ayan tuloy.
Nangyayari tuloy. Oo nga, wait lang.
Oh no, ayan, nangyari na naman ulit. Hala, nako, paano ba yan? We're supposed to be talking right now about our first topic. But anyway, while we're getting Salve back on the show, and so we can move forward with the show, we're going to talk about first yung unang topic natin before we get to our guest. Dahil excited na rin ako na kausapin yung mga guests natin. They have a lot to share na knowledge with us. So first off, we're talking about yung segment natin, 6-minute segment with Warren and Minus Salve because of the technical difficulties. Paano makaligtas sa mga scam? So why are we bringing this up? It's because there's some recent news with a scam that I actually reported on, or a scandal, investment scandal that I reported on just last year involving DV Bauer. And this is an investment scheme wherein the company actually, ayan si Salve. Hi Salve, you're back. Ayan. So,
nalaglag ako sa balon. Yes. Yeah. So you're there na. Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right.
So you were talking about reporting
Bauer.
about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really something so difficult to explain to a lot of people because sabi ni Randall, wag mabilis maniwala. In short, wag ma-fall agad. Diba, Randall? Wag ma-fall agad.
Yes.
Kahit sa mga kakilala mo na. Anyway, were you talking about the 5 steps that we want to tell people about?
I was still talking about DV Bauer. And I was just saying, Salve, that both of us actually reported on this, and I reported on this just last year, wherein the proponent of this, Dexter Villamin, was facing the press and telling his investors to have patience, the money would come. However, several of his investors were already filing cases in court against him. And ayun na, my understanding is there is an arrest warrant that's already been issued. But again, this is a pending case, so let's let the courts decide on what will happen.
Yeah.
What we want to share really is what happened to the investors. No? And I interviewed a lot of the investors. They put in millions of pesos, tens of millions of pesos, and now they cannot touch that money.
Hindi na.
Yeah, because it's involved in this investment scandal, and they're in litigation.
Guys, nati-trigger na yung partner ko. Nati-trigger. Baka mamaya kulot-kulot na yung buhok niya. Pero just very quick lang. You know, I met Dexter and I know a lot of very good friends. I have a lot of, several good friends who actually proposed the idea to him of Paiwi. Yun talaga yung simula. As in, hinanap ko talaga yung simula niya. Meron akong napakabuting kaibigan. Sila ang nabigay sa kanya ng idea, but they did not know that it will turn out to be like this. So, tingnan natin sa personality, marami talagang natutuwa sa kanya every time he speaks. He makes great promises. Even when he joined me in the show, he was very charming, very polite, very courteous. And he asked me for advice. And then I told him, don't give high guaranteed returns. Kahit na, kasi yung mga OFW, gusto niyan bumalik sa agrikultura talaga and his grad plans. But ayun nga, sabi ni Partner Warren, hintayin natin kung anong desisyon ng mga korte at mga kaibigan, hindi lang isang court ang nagde-decide sa mga kaso na to because there are at least 5 other courts looking at mga sinampang kaso sa kanya. He is not yet arrested. He is still at large. Hindi pa siya nahahanap. But just giving you the news that meron nang na-issue na warrant of arrest. Now, Partner Warren, number 1 na
Yes.
napaka-importante
Ito
na
na yung mga
detalye
tips on
bago
how to
kayo
avoid,
mag-invest.
how to avoid
Oo.
scams. Absolutely. Check with
Sabi-
the SEC, DTI, and the BSP. And tulad ng sinulat ni Salvi dito, kahit yung bestie mo ang mag-alok, huwag maniwala ka agad. Tulad nga din ng sinabi ni, ni Randel, no?
In short, sabi ni Randall, huwag maging
Ganun na lang, ganun na lang. Yung DV Power, it was flagged by the SEC, but actually the SEC reached out to Dexter Villamin and they took down the alert because he promised to take care of his investors. Pero again, the latest news is ayun, nagpunta talaga sa korte yung issue and problemado pa rin yung mga investors. So be careful and check with the regulators. So Shalva, number 2.
Usually kasi, Partner Warren, merong sinasabi, pag hindi ka pumasok ngayon, hindi mo na makukuha yung discount, kaya nagmamadali. And when that happens, hindi ka nakakagawa ng research mo. But we're saying, delay nyo muna kung kailangan mo mag-research. And number 2, magtanong sa mga eksperto. Ayan.
Yes.
Huwag mahihiya. Like, Warren and I have started the company Empower and Transform. Just send us a private message. We will give you tips. Ang dami namin natatanggap na ganyang messages. Ito po bang kumpanya na to ay legit? We can give you information. So, huwag mahihiya bago maglagay ng pera. Di ba? Tama ba, partner?
Absolutely. There are no guaranteed returns. Even the biggest companies will not give you a guarantee. They will say na, hindi, forecast pa lang yung income natin na yan. We're hoping that we can do that. We're going to hit that target. Pero target lang siya. Hindi guaranteed. Diba?
Eh di mas matamis magsalita yung mga may balak na masama. Ay, meron ako. Matamis magsalita ang mga may balak na masama. Itanong natin yung sa susunod na guest natin mamaya. Number 3. Magtanong sa mga dati nang nag-invest.
Yes, exactly. Ang galing yan kasi if you are going to get into some of these investment scams, kasi one of the modus operandis of these people is, after sila mahuli, uulitin nila. Madami yung mga investment scams na naka-flag sa SEC, iba-iba yung pangalan, pero pare-pareho ang mga proponent. Pare-pareho lang yung mga tao. Diba? So if you ask people, diba, ask about it, and then the people say, sino ba yung nag-invest yan? Marinig mo yung pangalan, yun pala yung nasa SEC, patay ka dyan.
So a lot of losses could be avoided sana kung nagtanong-tanong tayo. And number 4, check against promises that are too good to be true. Again, nako-connect ko din to sa pagmamahal at sa panliligaw eh. Kaya excited na talaga ako ipasok yung susunod natin na guest. Dahil sa pagkakaalam ko po, yung mga nanliligaw na pinapromise yung buwan, yun yung mga dapat hindi nyo paniwala. At number 5, ito na, partner, ang pinakamaganda. Ayan, ito na.
Kung alam mo ng scam pero gusto mo pa rin, hindi ka na namin matutulungan.
Ganito na yan.
Nako, ipo-connect mo na naman yan sa pagmamahal.
Hindi kasi, partner. Alam mo naman sa mga reporting natin, ang dami talagang willing victims. Alam na nila, di ba, Randel? Alam na nila na si Randel talaga lagi din yung, palaban din yan sa mga scammers. Alam na nila na scam yan, pero pumapasok sila kasi mauuna sila sa iba. So, pag kumita na, out na sila. But, hindi na namin kayo matutulungan dyan kung hindi kayo makalabas. And having said all of that, partner, I think it's time for you to let it our next guest.
Yes, absolutely. Ito, excited na rin ako na introduce dahil, ayun nga, sabi mo nga, puro mali yung start ng show natin, technical difficulties. Itong guy na to, si Mr. Darby or Kuya Darbs, kung tawagin, ay isang professional Filipino vlogger from the UAE. He's the #1 vlogger there. He's been able to quit his job and he does vlogging full-time now. He has 1.3 million followers on his Facebook page. That is an accomplishment, ladies and gentlemen. Kuya Darbs, please come up.
Akit, bigyan ng hagdan. Ayan.
Hello, what's up? What's up?
Wow.
Kumusta? How are you
Ayan.
guys? Thank you very much for having me, Salve. Kuya Warren, maraming salamat for inviting me here. Thank you very much. Very excited to impart my knowledge sa lahat ng mga nanonood at nakikinig ngayon. Thank you very much. Hi from Dubai.
Ayun,
Ika nga
di
nila.
ba? Ang dami ditong nanonood from your part of the world. Gusto ko nga alamin, sino dito ang original na follower ni Kuya Darbs? Press 1.
Press
Gusto ko
1.
makita mga press 1ers dyan. Ang mga, at saka meron ng mga nagmamine, I think. May
Nagmamine ka
nagmamine na
agad.
sa'yo. Oh,
Si Aris ba? Si Aris?
Oo,
Aris.
nagmine na si Aris.
Ayun.
Kuya
Number
Darbs.
1 sa pagmamahal.
Paano
Yes
ka
po.
nakarating sa ano? Ay, bago ko tanong kung paano ka nakarating sa 1.3 million. Paano nga ba talaga? How do you get your heart broken responsibly?
Nako,
Yan yung
maraming-
latest episode.
Oo, updated si Madam Salve. Hindi ko ini-expect yan. So yan, there's a lot of ways kasi to have your heart broken. Pero karamihan kasi na nangyayari pag broken-hearted, ang ginagawa is hindi lang yung puso nila ang sinisira, pati yung buhay nila. Hindi na uma-attend sa work, nalilate na, hindi na nakakapag-focus. They tend to shut themselves away from other people that matters outside of that relationship that was broken. So, that's not the right way of having your heart broken. Kung masaktan ka, contain mo lang sa puso, pero wag mong idadama yung ibang aspeto ng iyong buhay.
Ng buhay.
Ganon.
Aris,
Ganda,
natandaan mo
ganda.
yan, Aris. O, diba? Ang galing eh. Kaya ako, I think what I found really interesting about your videos is that you touched on things that, and in a new way eh. Kasi, alam mo, we've all seen all of these video advice and vlogs and tutorials, diba? But you give it a new spin, and I think, diretso sa bituka ng mga tao kung hindi diretso sa puso. Di ba, Partner Warren? Ang galing eh. How do you get your heart broken responsibly? Meron palang ganun. Kaya yung mga mag-move on na po, pwede namang mag-move on ng walang drama. Oh,
Yes.
Ayun.
may ganun din ako.
May pinagsasabihan ka ba, Salve?
Wala. Ikaw naman.
Oh,
Wala
okay,
po akong pinaparinggan dyan. Okay. So,
So, yung
Very
topic ni
quickly.
Kuya Darbs, how to
Oo.
make money on social media. Kita-kita mo naman, pati si Salve nakikinig sa mga vlog ni Kuya Darbs. Diba?
context niyan, Kuya Darbs, yung sinasabi ni Partner Warren, kasi a lot of OFWs ngayon might be looking at, sabi ni Jay Tolentino, Hugot. Ayan, ayan, shout out po kay Jay Tolentino. Si
Hugot.
Jay po ang nagpakilala sa akin kay Kuya
Kuya Jay.
Darbs. No,
Yes.
di ba? Shout out kay Kuya Jay. Hey,
Shout out kayo.
Ang tawag nito? So, a lot of OFWs want to be an influencer, baka pwedeng maging source of passive income, and they might think if they get a nice mic, and if they get a nice sound card, after a couple of months, parang Kuya Darbs ka na. Pwede ka na mag-monetize. Kuya Darbs, set the record straight. What can you say about that?
Well, content creation is a marathon. It's never a sprint. This is one of the most maling notion ng mga taong gustong pumasok sa ganitong industry, that they think that since the barrier of entry is very low, it's easy to go inside and become successful in it. But to be honest with you, it's not going to be the case. Number one, before you buy your mic, before you buy the lights and the contents that you're going to be thinking, you have to set yourself in asking the question, why are you doing this in the first place? And most of the time, the answer of the people is, I wanted to become rich and I wanted to become popular. Those two are the majority of the reasons why most people are going into this. And unfortunately, that is one of the reasons why, if the barrier of entry is very low, dapat at least one of 10 friends natin are supposed to be successful at it. Kasi everybody can do it. But that's not the case, right? Because it's difficult. And one of the reasons why is because people are doing it for the wrong reasons. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. So kung sakaling gusto mong maging successful dito, you have to be doing this for a longer period of time, a relentless execution, and you're supposed to be putting contents that are unselfish. It's not all about you. That's the reason why there's a lot of people who's doing this and not become successful, kasi they only talk about themselves. They're not giving value to their audience. And that is the reason why most people fail in this type of, industry. So, again, to set the record straight, you have to be willing to do this for a longer period of time. Your why is supposed to be more than just the money and fame. And at the end of the day, you have to be willing to go through this process and execute relentlessly. Kasi posibleng na-hype ka lang eh. And if you're just gonna be doing this for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, it's not gonna be, hindi yun kabute na biglang tutubo. Like the most powerful content creators that we know today, the most influential, Nas Daily, Kong TV, Will Dasovich, and those people started 10 years ago. They didn't just happen to do this 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years, 5 years. They started a long time. So that is one of the things that I teach kasi may vlogging academy din ako, and that's the reason why I was able to monetize then later on, because I'm able to leverage the teaching skills, the experience that I have. So
this was a question that Warren
straight.
had for you. Oh yeah, thank you.
Mm-mm.
This was a question that Warren had for you earlier. Now, how long did it take before you could monetize?
Took me 4 years before I monetized.
Guys, matagal 4 years. Hindi, sabi niya nga hindi ka bote.
Pero to be honest with you, if you are a content creator, you can actually monetize 1 year if you want. Pero the downside of that is you're selling your brands short. I made sure na bago ko pinitas, hinog na. Kasi pwede mong pitasin at may bunga kang makukuha. Yun nga lang, maasim. You get what I'm saying? So ako, I made sure that I make my brand so strong, I make my brand value giving, so that when I try to monetize, hindi na barya-barya yung pwede kong singilin, because I have a very good product with me. So that's the reason why I can. So merong iba can monetize year 1 pero premature, and they can continue monetizing until 4 years. It would be the same amount of monetization when I monetize after 4 years, at saka 6 months ko lang minonetize yung 4 years na minonetize nung isa na prematurely. So it's just about trying to build a brand so strong and navigate your way around that kung sakali.
You mentioned earlier that you need to have a why. So you talked about having an academy for content creation. But what really is your why, Kuya Darbs?
Well, to be honest with you, my why at first is gusto kong sumikat. I mean, honestly, that's my why. That's my why. That's my why. And but at the end of the day, that's why hindi ko ginajudge yung mga tao who's coming into this for those 2 reasons. And it's okay, because I went into that. Pero you have to understand, it has to evolve. So ako, later on, I realized na this is not just about me anymore, because number 1, I'm blessed because I'm able to do the things that I love, and I'm able to do the things that I think I'm good at. And number 2, I'm able to help people. This is not just about me speaking in front of a camera. It's about me trying to stop someone shooting themselves in the head because of a heartbreak, just because they listen to one of my podcasts telling them that you're worthy, you're valuable, that you deserve to be not just an option. So that itself, I considered it as a blessing. And if you continue doing this, giving value to the audience, relentlessly executing, and just give value to them, you do not have a choice but to monetize later on. The byproduct will always be monetization, because people will always tend to give back to you. But first, dapat ikaw muna magbibigay. Yeah.
When I just unpack what you said, because there are a lot of takeaways there. Na if you want really to, gusto mo sumikat, gusto mo kumita, which is really actually in reality what is the objective of most people when they go to social media, di ba? So to unpack what you said, you need to know your why. You need to have content that's unique to you, and you need to relentlessly and consistently execute. Yes. And don't go too fast. Just build your brand, first strengthen your brand. Tama ba? Na-unpack ko ba ng mabuti? Wala naman ako naiwan sa maleta.
I would add on to that. You don't have to do it fast. I say this, macro patience, micro speed. Macro patience, in a sense that you have to know that this will take time to build. So you will have that notion na, okay, this will take time to build. But having that notion, in the micro, you have to execute as if you want it tomorrow. So you execute like you wanted it tomorrow. You execute this content kasi gusto ko na may maganda akong content. So there's supposed to be both sides pulling from each other's direction, so that straight yung papuntahan mo. Kasi merong iba, okay, macro patience. Uy, sabi ni Kuya Dubs, 5 years. Sige, so mga every 6 months lang ako mag-upload ng content. Hindi mangyayari yun. You get what I'm saying? It's not gonna be the case. So it's supposed to be macro patience, micro speed, so that you can monetize later on.
That's
Ganon.
very nice. So,
Galing.
sige lang. Warren, you first, and then I'll ask one question.
Oh, no. I'm actually, go ahead, Sabi.
Okay, so
Sabi ko,
when
magaling
you,
yung, Go.
anong platform ang mas mabilis ang monetization? Is it IG, Facebook, YouTube, Kumu, other live streaming apps? Which one would you recommend?
So basically, meron kasing tinatawag na content creators that monetize on basic ad revenue and content creators that monetize on their personal brand. So basic ad revenue, like yung binibigay ng YouTube and Facebook and na binibigay sa'yo na ads. So there are other content creators na umaasa doon. So I'm the latter. Ako yung content creator na hindi masyadong umaasa doon. Umaasa ako doon sa na-build ko na personal brand, and I'm gonna advertise them. And I'm gonna ask for payment for me to advertise you on the personal brand. So if you're gonna ask me right now, if it's generic content creation, mas better ang YouTube. Pero mahirap kasi ang organic reach is very low. That's one thing. Pero kung gusto mo ng mabilis na organic reach, TikTok is the way to go. Because TikTok right now has the organic reach that Facebook has since noong 2005. Kasi ngayon, ang hirap mag-build ng followings, lalo na sa Facebook, lalo na sa Instagram. Super baba ng organic reach. But if you try TikTok right now, have a content creation na super intentional, super value giving, I mean, super easy makakuha ka ng 10,000 followers in just like a month or two of continuously executing. And then you leverage that. Kasi dati, ganito nangyayari. Dati, ni-invite lang dito sa UAE is mga YouTubers lang and Facebook, mga vloggers. Pero ngayon, kasali na yung mga TikTokers.
TikTok.
So, ibig sabihin, it's already a legitimate line. So, this is what most people had in common previously, that we tend to downplay yung mga emerging. So, like say, for example, before, we tend to downplay Facebook because it's just for college kids.
IJC.
We tend to downplay YouTube because it's just for home videos. Downplay Instagram because it's for hipsters. Pero look at those platforms right now. Those people who said that the very first time are the ones who's using it right now. At napapansin mo, lahat ng mga tao naging successful sa social media platforms na to are the ones who ride the wave of organic reach, the height of organic reach. So, it's happening. History is happening. TikTok is there. There's a lot of people who saying na TikTok, pang ano lang yan, hindi pang macho yan. Diba? Ganon, when it was emerging before. Hindi mo ako mapapagpa-TikTok kasi pang ano lang yan. But look at it now. Even the biggest brands, social media campaign, TikTok is supposed to be there. So, yun.
Yeah.
That's my advice. Pro tip.
Si Warren, pwede ka na mag-Mimiya style.
No.
Meron ako isang tanong. Wait, natawa sila. May isa pa akong tanong. Kailangan ba may biceps ka para maging influencer ka?
Pwede. May biceps yung leeg. Pwede.
May biceps yung
There are a lot of questions coming in for you. You gotta love this guy. Oy, my fan. Salute, Real Talk Darbs. Warren, if you have one last question before we move on to our next guest, and then we'll bring in Kuya Darbs again. We'll just have a short interview with the chief economist of Union Bank, so that all the OFs who are watching today will have a chance to know the economic outlook for the Philippines. Naka mid-year na tayo kasi. So we'll bring back Kuya Darbs in a little while, unless you have one more question.
Ito lang yung question ko. Napapansin ko sa social media, meron yung mga content creators na yung talagang pauso or nakikiuso, and then meron yung mga they take their time and they really talk about yung mga topics that are close to them. Yung sincere content. Which of the two do you think is more effective?
The latter, yung sinabi mo na yung mga sincere. Ganito kasi yan. I'll give you a very, very good example. Giving our likes, giving our shares, and giving our hearts is free, right? It would not take us like, I don't know, 0.005 millisecond. But before, it's easy to give. But right now, think about it. We don't usually give likes. We don't usually give shares. We don't usually give hearts on contents that really strikes us the most. Tama? Because kahit na free to, this is a currency. This is me trying to give you love. So, see, it evolved, right? So, later on, I'm telling you that us as content consumers will evolve too. That we're only gonna be giving that subscribe button, that follow to people that really gives us ultimate value. So right now, medyo premature pa kasi we're just following people because they're entertaining us. Pero later on, give it a couple of more years, us as content consumer will become more demanding on people that we follow. So yung mga taong nag-build ng solid followings, it's not a sudden burst. Itong madalas ko din sinasabi sa student, depth not width. I don't care how much followers you have. What matters is the quality of the followings that you have. 'Di ba? Kahit isa lang ang followers ko, wala akong problema basta si Jeff Bezos 'yon, 'di ba? Okay na 'yon. Okay na ako.
Okay na.
You get what I'm saying? So depth not width, and you're only able to get quality followers if you're able to give quality content.
Oh,
Galing,
grabe.
galing.
I love this guy. Tumibok yung puso ko kanina. Tama yun. Depth. Important yung quality of viewers also.
For sure.
If these are policymakers or business owners, which is in our case, is what we really are targeting, and then okay lang kahit na hindi ka kasing bilis ng pag-increase ng likes and shares. Anyway, thank you so much, Kuya Darbs. We'll bring you back in, or you
Sure.
can also join the Balitaktakan later, ha? Huwag ka mawawala. Guys, please type your questions for Kuya Darbs para pagbalik niya mamaya, diretso na ulit tayo sa bakbakan. Kasi alam ko marami kayong katanungan dyan para kay Kuya Darbs. But right now, Partner Warren, our next
Yeah.
guest.
Our next guest, as you mentioned, an economist from Union Bank, Carlo Asuncion. This guy, we've been talking to him for a long time on ANC, ABS-CBN. Hello, Carlo. Thank you for coming onto the show. Nice to see you here in this more relaxed setting, no?
Okay.
Carlo, kumusta? Natuwa ka ba dun sa napakinggan mo kanina?
Dami kong natutunan.
Ang dami mo
Yan.
natutunan.
Oo.
Di ba? Si Carlo do, medyo siya. He's the type rin naman, napansin ko lang sa social media, is quality content din siya. Di ba? So, di ba?
The measure you give daw is the measure you get.
Oh,
Yeah.
di ba? Oh, and
Yeah.
very deep yan si Carlo. One of my, sa media bawal, kailangan tayo mag-arm's length, but one of my favorite people to interview on the money. Sorry, sinabi ko na talaga. Okay, so, Warren, do you have a question for Carlo, or do you want me to shoot?
Actually, yung pinag-usapan namin kanina, it's something that's really important that people should hear about. Yung economy ng Pilipinas. What's gonna happen? We had a very disappointing April and May dahil nga bumalik yung COVID, nag-spike na naman. So what should we expect? And yeah, you go from there.
Well, alam mo, nag-revise kami. So, syempre, dahil dun sa first quarter was, how would you say that? Weaker than expected, no? So, negative 4.2%. We were actually just expecting negative 3.6, no? So, alam mo ba, yun nga. And then, dahil yung consumption, hindi pa din ganun lakas. In fact, negative pa nga yun eh. So, usually, mga positive 5 to 6% yun, pero negative 5%, no? 4.9. So, and again, it's because it's not picking up yung tinatawag nilang discretionary, di ba? Yung paglabas mo, panonood mo ng sine, ganyan. You know, it's still not there. Of course, syempre naka-hinge siya kasi, as we have always mentioned, naka-hinge talaga sa rollout ng vaccination. So, and then we move on to second quarter, yun nga, April, May, medyo, although yung first quarter medyo lumuwag na ng konti, kitang-kita yun sa mga improvement ng mga numero, no, sa demand side. And pero nung second quarter, April, May, yan, medyo sumikip ng konti. Nakita yun sa sa unemployment, 'di ba? From 7.1 ng March, umakyat ng 8.7 ng April. So, makagandahan naman ito, tinatrack na nila every month, no? Nilalabas na nila every month ngayon. So anyway, but that would show now sa second quarter, I'm pretty sure. And we are initially expecting na 8.1%, yun yung adjusted number na yon for second quarter. Pero full average is at 4%. Ng 2021. Malayo yun sa ng gobyerno, which is 6 to 7%.
6 to 7, oo.
Oo. So actually, kung titingnan mo yung mga the World Banks of the world and the ADBs and the IMF, medyo bear kami ng konti, no? Kasi 4.7 si So pero adjust sila pababa, no? Looking at 8.1, pero meron kaming ginagawa ngayon na I think walang ibang bangko gumagawa. We're tracking the sort of a semi-real time. Kinukwento ko kay Warren kanina. On a monthly basis, we come out with a number that measures yung, kumbaga, kung asan na yung GDP. Para lang
for 20 high. Yeah. So nasa yung GDP every month. So it's
parang ganon, no? So
ano yung ginagamit mo na pang palit? I mean, that's mind-boggling to me. I mean, the government every 3 months lang yan. Yeah.
It's actually, yun nga, di ba? I mean, that's the challenge, di ba? 3 months.
Yeah.
You have to wait for the official number. Pero, buwan-buwan kailangan, at least, kasi napaplano ka hindi ka napaplano ng every quarter lang.
Every quarter, diba? Correct.
Yeah. Pero that's missing So, what we do is we get it using what's available, yung mga high frequency na usually hindi ginagamit, no?
How's the so far, how is it, how close it is to the reality?
To the yung
anong deviation niya?
Yung 8.1 na in-expect namin, currently at June it's only at 6.3. So that measures yung tawag ito, yung April, May. At least yung May na may latest na May na data na yan. So pero wala pa yung June. Yun naman ang good news doon. Yung June na medyo lumuwag na, and I'm pretty sure umakyat na rin yung in-announce ng gobyerno, yung mga dine-in, basta nagluwag na ng konti, and pretty sure even in terms of tourism, which is actually big on discretionary spending, bumubukas na rin, no? So hindi pa nakaka-capture nung process na.
So, Carlo, sometimes you have viewers who from other countries, of course, mga overseas Filipinos like Kuya Darbs who live in other countries, and they say, may investments ako dyan, may pag-asa pa ba to? It's like end of the world, and sa pagtingin nila, wala nang pag-asa yung Pilipinas. These numbers that you're talking about, what do they actually mean? I mean, let's break it down for every Filipino watching here today. Press 1 if you want to understand what these numbers mean. So if GDP is at this level, what does that mean?
First and foremost for OFW. So in the context of peso exchange rate. Yeah.
Si May Pretty nagtatanong, press 1 daw.
Di ba lately, if you were watching last week, actually bigla nag-depreciate siya. Kasi talaga yung peso kasi naka-hinge talaga yan din sa sa lakas sa galaw ng USD, ng dollar. Kung ano yung nangyayari sa ekonomiya ng and apparently we've heard that yung Fed, US, yung Central Bank ng US, sa rhetoric nila, sa mga kinukwento nila sa markets na babawasan sila ng yung hindi na sila magiging accommodative, sinasabi nila. Hindi na sila sa easing kasi binaba nila yung kanilang interest rate para ma-encourage yung ekonomiya na mag-invest, and everything. Parang ganoon din sa Pilipinas, ganoon din ang ginawa. Binaba yung base points. Pero they're starting to talk about kumbaga lift off ang tawag nila doon parang magdadagdag na sila ngayon ng interest rate. So pero wala pang actual na pero may usapan na. So iba yung sa walang usapan versus yung meron ng usapan ngayon. So kung kailan. Pero medyo far off pa yan. Pero that means ang ang impact nun sa dollar lalakas. So pag pinagtabi mo sa peso, syempre yung peso magde-depreciate pag lumalakas yung diba? So anong nangyayari
which is good for overseas Filipinos.
Yes. So yun actually yun ang namin yung
mas marami kayong perang mapapadala pa uwi.
Towards the end of this year, ang tingin namin talaga magde-depreciate ang peso to about probably 49 to 50.
Balik 50.
Ganon.
Mamimili na ako, ganon. Mamimili na ako ngayon, Carlo.
Talaga kung ganon lang pwede. Pero hawakan mo hanggang hindi pwede yung di ba? Kailangan may strong conviction mo na.
Oo nga. Baka mamaya tumalon ako sa balon pagka lugi pala. Wait, go ahead.
Nag-ano na yung US di ba? We've hearing that, nagre-recover na and all those things dahil din sa rollout ng vaccine nila. They have basketball games already in the NBA.
Grabe yung crowd. Punong-puno.
I mean, people are really, talagang gusto na nilang lumabas. But very quick before I bring back Kuya Darbs. Paul Liwag, hi. Dumaan sa Kumu. Carlo, I heard that, let's say, a lot of countries now, malalaki utang because of COVID. So, syempre, there's pressure on the policymakers to keep interest rates low. Diba? If you're an investor in this time and age, what can these economic numbers tell you about what to do with your money? Which industries are you going to buy? What kind of investment instruments do you think is going to make sense for all of our viewers?
Yung sa equities, sa stocks, 'di ba? Kasi like for example, even last week, Jollibee, 'di ba? Parang medyo biglang
Fried towel.
ano yun it sort of aligns with your kasi 'di ba medyo nag-ease na syempre kasi marami silang mga branches and all those things. So parang it's more of really it's hinged on that premise eh. So yung mga kasi I've always looked at equities between discretionary and essential. So yung mga 'di ba, ito naman yun yung mga discretionary. Diba? So ngayon pag mag-i-invest ka, isipin mo okay, so saan ako pwedeng pumwesto ngayon na mukhang mag-aano na ulit yung mga discretionary. So yung mga discretionary connected consumption na industries. Yan ang mga
So no, you have to break that down in more simple terms. But I want to bring in Kuya Darbs. Baka meron siyang gustong itanong being an overseas Filipino worker himself. Kuya Darbs, akyat kita ha.
Yay!
Tuhan dito para mamaya, mas may pulso ka kung ano yung information na kailangan ng mga tao. When you say discretionary, examples.
Yan, yung mga travel, yan. Diba? Yung mga tawag, fine dining, yan. Yung mga yan. So, even real estate, actually, diba?
Pwede na bumili ng mga condo si Kuya Darbs, baka may 10 na nga siya eh. Yung susunod na 1 million na pang 20 na condo units.
Okay, so may maganda akong tanong. Yes, it relates to Kuya Darbs. Kasi Kuya Darbs was telling us earlier that he was supposed to come home na. Pero he ended up staying in the UAE kasi maganda yung negosyo doon niya, yung vlogging doon. Maganda yung kita. If you're an OFW and you're thinking about going home, is this the right time to go home considering nga na yung economy natin hindi pa ganun kaganda?
Ako ba?
Sino ba ako?
For Carlo, yeah. Carlo.
Okay, sorry, Carlo.
Okay, if you're
pagkatapos niya Kuya Darbs, ikaw naman.
Kuya Darbs ka na actually kahit saan ka naman, 'di ba? Kasi online kahit saan ka naman. It's always gonna be there yung online mo, 'di ba? Yung online gig mo.
Mas mabilis nga lang daw ang internet sa Dubai.
Isa pa yun. So infrastructure,
pero mahal, 'di ba Darbs, mahal? I mean lalo na in Abu Dhabi pala is expensive. I think Dubai also very expensive ang net.
Sakto lang naman. You get what you paid for. Like basically pag nagbayad ka niyan, the convenience, and you don't have to complain why your internet is so slow, you will complain why your internet is so fast, di ba? Yun na yung complain mo, ang bilis.
Which leads me to, ang telco ba is discretionary or essential? Essential na, no? I mean, post-pandemic world, essential na siya.
Actually, isa sa mga tatlo lang yan naging stellar nung 2020. Finance and insurance, kami yan.
Thank you, Carla.
And then yan, telecom, saka gobyerno. Yung tatlo. So all the rest had negative growth, no? Worse yung accommodation, which is hotel, saka transportation. So yan.
Wait, may mga tanong dito. Wait lang ha.
Sige, let's go.
Babalik ko lang yung mga comments sila kanina about, wait lang. Babalik ako. Uy, wow, may pa-idol si Salve. LB, shout out kay LB Tolentino. Study more of financial education. Dino Bermudez is watching from Qatar. Any advice to the victims of DV Bauer? I mean, I think I would like to ask Kuya Darbs and Carlo also about this. Why the arrest still not reported on mainstream media? Yun ang sasagot. Hindi na po ako ngayon editor ng dyaryo or even. So, any advice from, let's say, Kuya Darbs first? And then I'll ask you Warren later.
Basically, what I can advise there sa mga victims is, number one, you have to like accept the fact na somehow that was a mistake. Minsan kasi yun minsan ang mahirap sa acceptance is that we think that we're the victim, that we don't have accountability. You have to really understand that half of the reason why you're there in the first place is because you either did not do your research, or that you want to cut corners and you want to get rich quick. I mean, at the end of the day, ikaw pa rin kahit papano ang may kasalanan, somehow why you're in that place. Accountability.
Ang sakit mo magsalita, Kuya Darbs. Ang sakit daw. Dumudugo daw yung puso ng mga tao sa baba.
Totoo yun. I mean, who knows? Maybe this is one of the lessons that you have to learn that could also propel you to the next big break on your life, na alam mo na kung paano. I mean, you could have lost 10 times more if you didn't learn this lesson as early as now. So tingnan mo na lang ganon. Accept the accountability, and number two, always report, kasi minsan yun ang nangyayari, hindi natin nire-report, hindi tayo gumagawa ng action kasi wala naman na tayong magagawa. But once you report, ibig sabihin it will pile up, and then somehow you can be of help to those people you don't want to have the same mistakes as you have. So that's my advice on those people.
Thank you, Carlo. Carlo, 1 minute.
One, learn, and then take responsibility, kasi wala naman na ibang masisisi kundi ikaw. Decision mo yon, no? Pera mo yon, pinakawalan mo.
Masasakit nila magsalita, guys.
Tapos take accountability, report mo, no? And then
don't do it again.
Yeah, learn.
Yes, a lot of people are saying it's because of our information system, that it's not easy to check. I mean, people don't even know what the phone number of SEC is. Or, of course, madali na i-Google yung website niya, but it's also hard to navigate. So a lot of, I think, problem with sources of information in terms of checking, also scams. Warren has been reporting on DV Bauer and a lot of other scams in TV Patrol and ANC. Warren, bakit daw wala pa daw sa mainstream media? Nandito na po sa Salveses. Ito yan po ang napaka-importante.
Ayan,
diba, Warren?
And
report na nga namin.
Breaking news dito. Pero if you look at yung mga yung investment scams kayo, yung mga people who knowingly are trying to get your money, they're getting more and more creative, and they're finding more and more ways to be convincing. When we covered DV Bauer, they had a farm. They had an actual farm. They had actual goats. It was a big property, and other people believed in it.
And a huge monument. Don't forget.
He had a huge monument to himself.
A huge monument
of
him.
Exotic animals at his farm that didn't make any sense to me. But again, people came in, they believed, they created their own farms. They spent so much, tens of millions of pesos on their own farms just to get in on this goat raising investment scheme. It's these people want your money, and they will do anything to convince you to part with your money. So it's your responsibility. It's your
right.
responsibility.
Somebody commented here, Kuya Darbs, a lot of people in Dubai daw put money in it. A lot of people also in Singapore put money in DV Bauer. I think it's because agriculture. Thank you, Tweety, for the mabuhay. I think agriculture is very, very attractive to overseas Filipinos. Lalo na, alam mo, maraming mga magaling sa probinsya, di ba? And they miss that, and they want that idea. Thank you sa Pulang Kabayo at Lechon. Sorry. Ayan. Say thank you to all of these virtual guests coming in. Thank you to Sabudol.
Thank you.
That dream. It's not bad to dream for overseas Filipino workers. No, it's not bad to want to be wealthy. It's not bad to want to get away from poverty. Pero that's why shows like this, and Salvi Says, and On the Money, and other shows want to give you yung tamang legit way to do it. Para hindi tayo kapit sa patalim, kasi baka yun lang ang naintindihan natin. And syempre, pag Pilipino, dun tayo naniniwala sa mga kamag-anak natin. Di ba? I don't know. Kuya Darbs, in Dubai, how's the investment scenario there? Are overseas Filipino workers asking you in your show about the legit way to invest money back in the Philippines?
That's a bit long shot for me kasi ang tinatanong sa akin kung paano
Puro
mag-i-invest
love.
sa hindi, paano hindi
pagmamahal?
mag-invest sa maling tao? Yun ang
Yeah.
tinatanong sa akin. So sabi ko, okay, I can advise you with that. But when it comes to finances, so pino-forward ko na sila sa mga expert. I only talk about things that I know. So ayoko magkamali sa mga finances. Sa pag-i-invest sa tamang tao, pwede kitang tulungan doon. Don't worry.
But that's a great
Good
tip.
yan.
That's a great tip,
Yeah,
Kuya
yeah.
Darbs. I only talk about things I know. It's the same thing in
For sure.
investment. Invest only in things you know. If you don't understand it, don't invest in it. Ganun lang kasimple.
Kaya
ito may
nga,
isang
kaya nga gusto rin natin dito sa show na to, pinapasok natin, we guest people like Carlo because they know the numbers, they know what's happening. Listen first to them and then you have an idea where you want to put your money. Sabi ni Tolentino, if you're being rushed to invest in something that guarantees high returns in a short period of time, makinig kayo kay Hey Kuya Jay. With little to no risk and would require you to recruit people, tumakbo na kayong papalayo, guys. Ayan, sana matandaan nyo yun. Wow,
Ito,
di
may
ba?
magandang
Pinoy
tanong.
superhero tayo. Yes.
Si Marcelo, let's put this up.
Okay, go.
This can be used for the two of our guests. The Fed rate is expected to hike by year 2023. Abutin ba ng 52 ang exchange rate at that time? Pwede bang hold ng USD then ipalit by year 2023 at i-invest sa stock market? Carlo first, and then I want to ask Kuya Darb about his policy with his foreign currency. Yeah.
Caveat, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Ano ba yan?
Pero definitely, pag nag-hike talaga siya ng, di ba, 2023 yung expected na first hike. Pero magtitimbre na raw sila even before that. So at least sinasabi nila yung may guidance na, no? And yes, it potential pwede maging 52 yan. Kaya yan, no? Lumakas talaga yung dollar because of that.
Yeah, and another question, just before we go to Kuya Darb. The peso was so strong last year when we had our first recession and worst recession post-war. What happened there? Bakit ang lakas ng peso last year? At reklamo yan ng mga OFW eh.
Oh, yeah. Una, syempre bumagsak yung natin, yung imports. That was the one that actually was feeding into the weakness. Diba? Kasi dahil sa build, dahil pumapasok na dollar, and a lot of it were importations of capital equipment. So, nawala yon. Boom.
Yeah.
So, diba?
All right.
So, lumakas talaga. So, yun yung naging problema. Nawala yung demand, corporate demand, because of subdued. Yung domestic demand natin, humina yung nagpapatakbo na ekonomiya, which was 70% of the economy. So lahat yun, damay-damay, kaya lumakas yung
peso, diba? It's parang counterintuitive lang, diba, na lumakas yung currency natin during a really, really down year. Okay, let's go to Kuya Darbs. What do you do with your dollars or whatever currency you earn? Do you take advantage of the changes in the exchange rate?
Somehow, yes, if there's a significance, parang malaking spike. Pero most of the time, I have a bank account here, tapos meron din akong bank account doon sa Pilipinas. Kasi minsan, if I have a client in Philippines, so doon ko na lang pinapadala yung account kasi malaki pa pag magko-cross. So if it's here naman, so may sarili din akong bank account. So if there is a major parang dito kasi ang palitan ngayon usually nasa 13 pesos per 1 dirhams. So pag umabot ng 15, 16 yon, siguro pwede akong magpapadala. Pero not necessarily kasi nagpa-fluctuate at saka nandun lang naman sa range. Oo.
Yeah. Wow, okay. All right. I only have 5 minutes left for this show. I know bitin ulit. Alam mo, lagi tayong pinapatay ng mga viewers natin kasi lagi silang nabibitin. But I'm always saying, tapusin mo na para mas marami, para bumalik sila next week. Matamis daw magsalita ang taong may balak na masama, mas matinik pa daw sa manliligaw.
Yan.
Ito, magandang advice to. Pairalin ang utak, hindi ang puso. Tama ba, Kuya Darbs? Agree ka ba?
Yeah, in a sense, oo. Pero kung gusto mo ng real talk, hindi kasi madalas kung ako papupiliin mo, puso o utak, puso pa rin. Puso in a sense that bakit ganito? I'll give you a very unconventional answer.
Parang naniniwala si Carlo. Sige, go.
Most of the time kasi ganito yan. we tend to think that our hearts are weak. That's the reason why it tends to make the wrong decision. Pero
Uh-huh.
if you know that you're capable of that, ibig sabihin you're a slave to your emotion. Kasi at the end of the day, puso pa rin ang mahalaga, hindi utak eh. Kasi your brain will tell you that it's not wise to go away from your family and become an OFW and make those sacrifices. But
Yeah.
no, your heart told you that, yes, I have to do this because I love them. And hence, because you were able to go through all of those parang illogical ways of your brain thinking, you went through here, become successful after 10 years, and hence you were able na paaral mo yung mga kapatid mo, na paaral mo yung mga natulungan mo yung mga yung parents mo, yung mga taong nangangailangan ng tulong mo. So at the end of the day, heart would still remain something that is an unconventional choice, pero you just have to learn how to use it properly. Hindi porket puso palaging emotion, hindi porket puso dapat you're supposed to be a slave to it. The secret of using your heart wisely is to make sure that your vision and your heart and your love is supposed to be given to those who are worthy of it. And minsan yun ang mali natin. Hindi natin alam kung sino yung taong dapat pagbigyan ng pagmamahal na yon. That's the reason why we make
Mahaba.
wrong decisions.
Parang sa susunod mga 2 hours yung show natin pag si Kuya Darbs yung guest natin. Kasi ang dami kong gustong sabihin. Hindi ko na masabi. 3 minutes na lang natitira. Pero Kuya Darbs, alam mo, marami nagmamind sa'yo on Kumu. Tapos sabi nila, akin. Sabi nung isa, TTH sa'yo, MWF.
Ay, wow. May time share na.
Oo, tapos shout out po kay Eljan TV. Pa-shout out daw. Si Enrique Yamson, you gotta love Kuya. Malupit daw talaga si Kuya Darbs. They know that the audience loves authenticity. And I think that's also true in terms of how we handle our finances. That we have to stand in our truth. Otherwise, we buy things that we really can't afford just to, impress people we don't like. And that's something that we always see on social media. Anyway, guys, bago ko kayo pakawalan, quick thumb game. Do this if you say that's a good investment for OFWs. Do this if not. Okay? Warren, join ka because you are also OFW before. Your friend's business, is that a good investment for OFs? Okay. Mapusod. Ay, nagbabago siya. Ganun. Okay. Ito, jewelry. Is that a good investment? Yes?
Especially if you're married.
Yeah. So, investment in your wife yan.
Happy wife, happy life.
Bags. Okay. Bags.
Huh?
Bags. As in bag.
Bag.
I think
Ako, hindi
meron
alam.
mga iba
For
talaga
me,
na
hindi.
For
umaakyat
you,
yung
hindi.
value.
Okay. Meron iba na umaakyat. Meron nag-comment si Henry down daw. Ganon.
Down.
Okay. Shoes. Ay, nako, yung mga sneakerheads dyan na naman. Okay. Oh,
Yes.
no. Oh, yes. Okay.
Sneakerheads.
Deliver yung mga Jordans umaakyat.
Ayan na. Okay. Masaya si Aris. Painting. Is that good for OFs? Okay.
Takot ako sa fake painting.
Okay. Stocks. Philippine stocks. Yes?
Depende.
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 Depende
Oo nga.
saan, Carlo? Depende
Napaka-broad,
saan?
napaka-broad.
Depende sa stock. Okay. Dogecoin.
Depende rin.
Depende. Okay. May Dubai coin, di ba, Kuya Darbs? May Dubai coin?
I haven't. Meron, pero I'm not familiar much about that.
Sabi ni kay Kuya Jay, paubos na daw yung Jordans niya, nabenta na
Then,
siguro. Kumita na to. Okay. Napulbos. Okay.
Bakit hindi mo na ako nagagamit? Hassle yun.
Bonds.
Yeah.
Philippine bonds. Yes, good for OFs. Ethereum.
Ay, talagang aralin.
Aralin muna. Mutual
Aralin.
funds.
Mutual funds.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay. MLM. Si Kuya Darson tawa.
Baka may friends kasi. May friends na dahil. Let's not hurt everybody here on the...
Let's not hurt everybody in the stream. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with us. I hope you enjoyed this interview. I hope you enjoyed guesting with us. Final words from Carlo, Kuya Darbs, and then Warren, and then we end.
Me? What am I gonna say? Be wise.
Be wise. That's good. Short and sweet. Be wise.
Kailangan talaga, aralin. Walang, hindi ka matatalo doon.
Yes, very good. Okay, Darbs?
Siguro sa akin is there will always be greater ways of investing regardless of the person. I mean, depende sa'yo eh. There will always be, depends on your passion. Siguro the only way for you to really go through that, the will to execute, is to want something better than what you have right now. Now, it's not greed. It's about changing the status quo. Na minsan, it's time to stop that 9 to 5. It's time to actually evolve and become like our own bosses. Kasi at the end of the day, in a 2021 world moving forward, there's no point of being in a job that you hate, because internet age is here and there's a lot of opportunities. This is the golden era of opportunities. And if ever you wake up sad and miserable because of the things that you do every single day, I think it's time for you to really take action, and go through forward, and take control back, kasi we only live once, as what they always say. Everybody
YOLO.
dies, but not everybody really lives.
Lives.
Yun.
Yes, ang ganda.
I want to live. Warren, it's your turn and then we end.
Yeah, ang galing ng mga guests natin tonight.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I always say every show that if you want to better yourself, improve your situation in your life, financially or whatever, just ask, reach out, look for information. There are people like Carlo and Darbs who are passionately trying to put out information or help out there so that you can better yourself, diba? Just reach out. And Salve
Libre
and I,
na
of
to.
course, are here for
Yes.
personal financial needs, diba? Just
Wala
reach out.
sila guys,
Everything's
hiningi
here.
sa amin talent fee.
Yes, that's tama. So yeah,
Thank you.
just improve yourself and do your own research, diba? Yung comment dito ni Henry. Do your own research, learn, improve yourself, and you can do so much more with your life. And let us help you as experts here on us talking
Thank
heads.
you. Thank you, Warren. Warren, please follow Warren de Guzman, WDD Guzman on Twitter. Real Talk Darbs, please follow him. Oh, ayan na, bumalik na naman ang echo ko. Facebook, YouTube, you're everywhere, diba? It's still Real Talk
Real
Talk
Talk
Darbs,
Darbs.
correct? Okay, please follow him in all his platforms. Carlos, saan ka ba mahahanap ng mga tao?
Type nila yung RCA Economist. Meron yan sa Instagram, meron sa YouTube, meron sa Facebook.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
And of course, Salve says everywhere it's the same. Salve says Kumu, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Darbs talaga hindi ko kinaya. Hindi ko talaga
You
kinaya.
should.
I should. Maybe I should. All right. Thank you guys. In 10 to 20 years from now, all the young people listening to you guys will remember the lessons they learned during the pandemic are the lessons that will really make them successful. This is the most difficult period in their life, and this is the best time to learn. So thank you for being here with us tonight. Maraming salamat. Till next week. Don't forget, Salve says Financial Saturday Night Live. Very grateful. I appreciate you, Darbs and Carlo and
Thank you.
Warren.
Thank you for
Maraming
having me
salamat. Bye!
Bye guys. Happy Father's Day.
Oh yeah, Happy Father's Day pala. Sorry, nakalimutan ko. Bye!